Hello, my name is Emma. I'm going to be your counselor today. I would like to begin this interview with a couple statements, just for transparency, that anything said between me and you in this room just stays between me and you, unless I feel that you are harm to yourself or others. And if at any point in the interview you feel uncomfortable with answering a question of mine, or you just would like not to answer, you can state that and we could just move on. And I wanted to ask if it's okay if I record this interview for notes taking purposes.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. All right. So let's start off with talking about like what brings you in here today.
I'm actually court ordered to come in here today. I wasn't too happy about it, and I was missing a shift of work, but can't. I have to abide the law.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit more. So, what inspired that court order?
So while I was driving, I was high, and I didn't hit the brake fast enough. So I ended up slamming into someone's vehicle from behind, and luckily no one was hurt. But I have so many court fines I have to pay for. I have probation. I'm lucky I'm not going to prison though. So I'm grateful for that at least.
Can I ask what you were high on?
So it's been a bit of mix of everything, pills of any kind that I can get a hold of. So it's, Percocets. I've done heroin too, and I've dabbed a little bit with the, the fentanyl and whatnot. But now we got this whole new drug, we got Trank, and it is really scary. Narcan's not even stopping that. Once you overdose on that, you're gone.
So, Trank, tell me a little bit more about that. Do you partake in using that, or is that a fear?
That is a fear of mine. I'm afraid that my drug issue is going to reach to that point where heroin's not going to give me the high that I need. So that I'm going to feel like I need to use Trank. Trank is an elephant tranquilizer, and when you inject it into you, wherever you injected it, it like leaves giant gashes into your skin. So it's also called the zombie drug. I'm just afraid that I'm going to get to that point, and I don't want to. So I'm grateful that I'm court ordered to be here too,
Okay, yeah. Do you feel that you are on the path to that point?
Maybe. I think I am a little bit, just simply because, the people that I'm around, I have friends dropping like flies right now, and it's, the community that I'm in, and, the work field that I'm in as well. It's everywhere that it's very tempting,
So tell me a little bit about your history of use. Like, what is your earliest memory of using any sort of drug?
So I grew up, a star athlete. I was, the cheerleader captain, and, my boyfriend actually was an alcoholic. We ended up getting married right after high school, and it turns out he wasn't the fairy tale, that I was asking for. So he was just very violent and got abusive, and then I ended up getting hurt at work, and they decided to prescribe me Percocets for 17 years. So I was on Percocets for a long time, but then I ended up getting a divorce, but then I started hanging out with the wrong people. I married instantly after I filed for my divorce for the last one, and it turns out he was a heroin addict. I didn't realize that, so I ended up getting stuck on that. But I'm not with that partner anymore, but now I'm just by myself struggling with my addiction alone. I've lost so many people, friends, family don't even want to speak to me anymore because my ex-husband, he started a lot of family drama along with that, told them that I was an addict. Just, caused all these issues, and my family doesn't even want to speak to me anymore because they know that I'm an addict. They didn't know that before.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like you have a lack of support from any area?
Yeah, I feel like my family is just waiting for me to die, really. And, you know, it's sad because I feel, you know, there's no point in living anymore if the people that I care about don't care about me. And, you know, you live and you work, but work is not your life. It's the people that's around you that really matters, and the memories that you're able to create. And I'm not creating anything worthwhile.
Well, do you think that you are open to a road of recovery and being that person that your family kind of expects you to be?
I am very open to it, I am. But I'm afraid when I get out, what's that going to do to me financially? Like, I feel like I need to work. I'm okay if I have to leave town and whatnot. I don't know where to go about it, especially when it comes to rehab. I know you have to pay for them sometimes. I just don't have that kind of money. And I don't feel like I'm any different than any other drug addict, you know. If I end up going along with everybody else that is addicted, what's the point?
So just to recall what I'm hearing from you, I'm hearing descriptive words like fear and a lack of support and like themes of abandonment, those sorts of things. Would you say that those fears are driving you in a certain way? Like, would it motivate you?
I don't know. It's just there's a lot of unknown to it that I think is very scary. You know, I don't really know who I am when I'm not on drugs. I don't know what to expect. I don't. I'm ready for a change. I really, really want it, but you know, it controls me completely.
When was the last time that you were sober?
Well, maybe about 20 years ago.
Yeah. Do you remember at all how you felt during that time?
During, like, when I started drugs, during my drug addiction journey, or before?
Before.
Not really. I mean, I was a kid before, and, like, you know, I didn't realize that my life was going to turn out this way because of the people that you know, that you trust in life, and they just take advantage of you completely. Like, you know, my first ex-husband, he wasn't a good person. He also struggled with addiction of his own. I forgive him, I do. But I don't think I would end up where I am if it wasn't for him, you know? I blame my addiction a little bit on him, but it's also my fault too. Especially with how far I've gotten with it.
Have you taken any steps to kind of separate yourself from addiction?
Not really. I mean, I think the drug addiction is what controls me completely. It's just so similar to waking up and, grabbing a cup of coffee to start your day. To me, it's just like that. Or even it's as necessary as eating food or drinking water.
Would you consider a rehab program?
Yeah, I'm very for it. It's just, again, the finance issue, or sometimes they accept certain insurances, and that depends on which rehab you go to. I don't want to be the person that they just, I just die off like that, It's scary.
It is scary, and especially with like your history of use, there's a lot of fears that will accompany those types of drugs, and a lot of risks that I'm sure that you're pretty aware of. You seem like you have a good head on your shoulders, like you seem like you're pretty self-aware of the situation, so I think that it's important that we take the necessary steps to help get you out of this. Let's see. Um,
If I do choose to go to a rehab, like, what am I to expect out of it?
okay. What you can expect out of rehab is it's kind of a sober living. Most of them encourage abstinence. Some of them we could look into harm reduction, because I think getting off of the drugs that you're on could have some adverse effects. So you can expect feelings of withdrawal, and that will especially be the first couple nights that you're there. But there will be continuous counseling services, people to be your support when you need it, someone that's constantly there. Um, there's 30-day programs, there's sometimes less, there's sometimes more, depending on just how well you're doing in that environment. Um, there's art therapy, there's like yoga and meditation, mindfulness. There's a community of people who are like minded, and you would be able to have group therapy settings, which is proven to be very beneficial, and just people that you can connect with and kind of find and build a support system that you're lacking right now.
Okay. So, making it sound not so scary.
Yeah, it's not scary, and it's there's a lot of support out there for you and a lot of understanding, because we can recognize that, like you said, it's something that you can't really control. It's like waking up in the morning and having your coffee. Like, this is something that these people are trained to understand and value.
Okay. Um,
Let's see. Are you currently employed?
yes, I work 2 full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, like, what are some stressors maybe that inspire use? Like, what is your headspace before using?
Um, I would say that my emotions completely are just kind of like dulled down. I feel very taped together when I use it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a very broken person, and then when I start using, it's just like, it feels like tape and I can move on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's a fix for now, it's good enough. It'll do.
Okay. Do you use throughout the day?
Yes, I do. So the places that I work at a restaurant for one of my jobs. It's my late night job, and there, I, I serve food, and I have a couple coworkers that are drug dealers, and that is a way they, they gain profit, is by dealing drugs while serving food as well. And my other job, I work at a factory. A lot of people get, harmed in work while working because it's a very dangerous job. So they end up getting hooked on to some kind of pills of some sort. So, I have access to all kinds of drugs at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just gonna mention that it might be especially dangerous to be using in a factory type job, like when you're not at your full attention, that you might be prone to accidents there. So that might be something to kind of keep in mind, of like a safety issue, like for your own safety and others as well.
That is true. I do fear that. Say if I'm, so high that I can't focus on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have ran into, times, like I said, why I'm here. I didn't hit the brakes soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up hurt myself from doing that. Yeah, I do worry about that.
How do you feel about the situation that brought you here? So this car accident that I'm hearing about, do you feel almost as if it was like a saving grace?
I think possibly that is. I'm also upset too because my car's totaled
Mhm.
and I cannot drive around anywhere I need to. And of course, I'm not legally allowed to. And then I have probation and all that stuff. Um, they tried sending me to a rehab facility, but they decided to first send me to a counselor, which I
Mhm.
found very different. I don't know.
Mhm.
Usually, people that get in these situations, they are either end up in jail
Mhm.
or they get sent to the hospital and get treatment there or something. I don't know. I just found the whole situation very different.
Mhm.
So I think that in a way, someone's looking out for me, you
Mhm.
know? But I have mixed emotions about the whole situation.
Mhm. Do you want to elaborate?
I just feel extremely. I'm mad at myself for allowing myself to get to this point, you know? I feel like I don't have any worth in my life. So there's also that fear of like hurting someone else because of myself, you know?
Mhm.
And I want to keep people out of that situation, you know? Like, what if I hit some mother with babies or something?
Right.
I don't think I'd ever forgive myself for that.
Right.
But I'm grateful too that I'm here and nothing else happened,
Mhm.
you know?
Let's together think of some things that can motivate you towards your goals. So first, I want to kind of set a goal. I think that you are inspired to kind of make a change in your life, and I think that rehab is one of the goals. But what can bring us to there?
Um, I don't know. I guess maybe if we discuss like the rehabs, what do they do? What's it
Mhm.
like? I mean, I'm okay leaving the state if I have to. I mean, there's nothing here for me.
Mhm.
So I think I'm okay with that. But I don't know.
Do you think being in this city or environment, do you think that's triggering to your use?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Especially my work environment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The entire town is awful. And especially, I'm just watching people die left and right. I don't think that's any good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It might be increasing my issue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can definitely look into facilities that are out of state. I know that there's like housing situations where you can be a part of a community of people that can house you right after rehab, and that you can kind of be away from this environment and almost start something new. Would
Okay.
you be willing of that?
I'm willing to change whatever I have to do, you know, to protect everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to live too. I don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
I really do not want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be another one of those people.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Um, what are your Do you have any aspirations for sober living? Like, what would that look like for you?
So, like, what would it look like if when I were to be sober?
Mm-hmm.
I see myself in a hippie van, you know, just traveling around and living life like that, but then
Mm-hmm.
also working remotely
Mm-hmm.
and just, you know, living in total zen, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but in a sober manner. You know, I'm already alone. I think, I'm not mad that I'm alone. It's kind of nice, but I think it would be a lot better if I weren't doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think it might take a little while until I can live my hippie life.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's definitely some steps to get there, but that's something that you can certainly look forward to, um, and kind of like leaving the past behind. And I believe that, like, how is your relationship with your family prior to their knowledge of your use?
You know, they were always really, really good parents. They're very, very religious,
Mm-hmm.
extremely. They're Mormon. So I always had to play this specific role, but like I don't feel like the role that they put me in was me. So by living, if I do decide to get sober, I think they'll support me. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of them when they see that I am, clean and sober. What pressures are they going to put on me? Because they do kind of pressure me a little bit on things, especially I'm the only child. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect.
Would you hope to reconnect with them someday?
I would absolutely love that, yeah. I'm not sure if they're willing to do that now or not. I don't know.
I think one step at a time, but I'm just kind of trying to gauge, like, future directions, see what we can look forward to together instead of looking towards the past. Let's see.
I mean, I really do look forward to, that fairy tale living I've always wanted to live, and I think I can achieve that by becoming sober. I think that, drugs have kept me away from everything that I've ever wanted to do, and I just want to travel. I really do. I just want to live like that. And I think by doing that will make things a lot better.
In your eyes, what is the most difficult challenge of quitting?
The most difficult challenge of quitting is that my inner demons are always lingering, and there's always that, that temptation of, drugs around me no matter what. I'm afraid, I don't know who I am when I'm not on drugs, so I don't know who to expect when I am not using. If I will be suffering from, any kind of physical issue for the rest of my life or whatnot.
Well, I think that you have the capability of being who you want to be, and I think that you might really like yourself when you are not on drugs, and I think that is a person that deserves to be explored. Do you want to talk a little bit more about your inner demons? Like, do you feel that you have symptoms of depression or anxiety?
I think, yeah, both really, depression and anxiety especially. I just started getting those symptoms when I got married to my husband because he was very narcissistic and abusive, that I felt like no matter what I was doing, I was walking on eggshells constantly. So I feel like I have a lot of emotions that I haven't faced yet. But I think therapy or even going to a rehab will help me.
Yeah.
I feel, by you explaining a little bit what rehab will look like, it sounds a lot comforting and healing.
Yeah, it's a peaceful environment with a community of people, and I feel like that could be what you need to move forward. But I'm interested in your past a little bit and unpacking some of those emotions. How recent was this divorce?
4 years ago. So I've been alone for about 4 years.
And how did you feel when the divorce went through?
It felt like a relief, I thought I have to get divorced and I have to get clean and sober, but I don't know, it's just something about it with being clean and sober scared me more than anything. I was just okay with being out of that relationship, and I was okay with being myself and by myself, and I still am okay with being alone. It's just I was more afraid of myself really than anything.
I can understand that. I would like to share something a personal story, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I have a history with dealing with drug use. Not me specifically, but my young daughter in high school. she was experimenting with drugs, and her friends kind of introduced her to heroin, and I that was a big shock to me, and I can kind of see from your parents' perspective, like the fear that they might have.
Right.
But I felt that I needed to get her help, and we're still kind of going through a battle with that. So I just kind of wanted to share that so that you're prepared that there's going to be some struggles, but there's also a lot of beautiful moments to look forward to. And me and her are now more connected than ever now that she's sober. But there was definitely a big period in between where there was a lot of difficulties between us because of her use. And I think that she was also afraid of who she was sober. Um, but meeting that girl, it was wonderful. It was like my little girl again. So I think that there's a positive outlook to your future, and something that can motivate you for betterness. I know that it's scary, but change is almost always uncomfortable, but it's almost always for the better.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that is, I mean, I'm not a mother, but that's got to be terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel, more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with my upcoming experiences in life.
Mm-hmm.
Is she doing okay now, though?
Yeah, she's doing much better. It's still, we're going down the road of recovery. There's been instances with relapse, and I'm not going to say that that's something to expect, but it's a possibility, as always. But she is doing very well. She's reached 90 days sober, and that's something to be very proud of. And we're just taking it day by day. And I think that you are very capable of doing that as well. So I could see that we are reaching the end of our session. Is there anything that you would like to add before we leave?
No, I think I'm all right. I think I'm ready for, list of rehabs and, what I can do from here.
Yeah, we will definitely get you set up with that. I would like to continue seeing you, or have you continue doing therapy while we get those set up and in place. But depending on your willingness, we'll be ready to take those next steps for rehabilitation.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.